Hi, welcome. If you are currently struggling with deciding whether or not to quit your job, I would love to chat through a couple of things you might want to consider while you're making this decision or making this move. I personally have quit two full jobs in my life, and the first one was what I in college called my dream job at my dream company. So just imagine how this was one of the hardest decisions that I had ever had to make in my life. So, if you are uncertain and in that same position right now, I want you to know that I get it. Like, I understand. It's not an easy place to be. It's nerve-wracking sometimes, and you might be asking a ton of your friends for advice, your parents, your mentors, different people for advice. So I 100% get where you're coming from. And I'm not here to tell you what decision to make, but I want to share a couple of questions that have helped me in the past and could potentially help you understand what's best for you and your life. All right, so let's jump right into it. I want to start with this question, which to me is super, super, super powerful to think of things through this perspective. And what's the question? Well, the question is, what is your life vision? What is your life vision? What is the vision you have for your life? When you think about yourself at 80 years old, looking back at your life, remembering all of the wonderful things you have created in your life, and you think back to this particular moment and decision, which decision to stay or to go will that person who you will be at 80 years old be most proud of? What decision will that person who you want to be, remember and say, this was a great decision? I remember when I first entered my 20s, I thought to myself, I didn't have the chance maybe or I didn't, not that I didn't have the chance, but I just didn't use my teenage years to make my 20s the best years of my life. But I sure as heck will use my 20s to make my 30s the best years of my life. And I imagine that I will continue to ask myself this question: what can I do to make the next decade of my life the best years of my life until the day I pass on? And this has been like a really, really, really helpful way of living life, because just imagine the perspective that this gives you. You're no longer thinking of things from a short term point of view, but you're looking long term. You're looking at what investment you are making in this moment for who you want to be, the wonderful, beautiful person you envision yourself being several years from now. You're building that person every single day with every decision that you make. So the point is to think about it from this perspective, and it will make things a lot clearer. What do you value, and which decision to stay or to go aligns most nicely with where you want to go, who you want to be? All right, so let's move on. Next question you might want to ask yourself is why? Why are you making this move, or why would you make the decision one way or the other? One question that a wonderful mentor once asked me was, are you moving towards something, or are you moving away from something? That's a big question. Am I moving towards something or away from something? It takes a lot of self-awareness to really understand which you are doing. It takes a lot of introspection to and honesty to really say which one it is. Are you running away from what are you running away from? Because if you are running away from something, maybe let's say worst case and or best case scenario is that you're running away from a toxic situation. And the reason I say best case scenario is because the choice is clear. Like, I 100% get where you're coming from if you're running away from a toxic situation, because in that case, you're no longer really running away. You're almost moving towards your well-being. You're almost moving towards your health. And but the worst case scenario is if you are running away from yourself. Are you running away from yourself? This is something you want to avoid, because if you're running away from maybe who you have become within this job, maybe you're running away from the fears that you have of getting somewhere wherever it is that you're heading in your career. Maybe you are about to be promoted and you're fearful of that. Maybe you're coming across a couple of challenges and you want to really think, is it me? Is there anything I can do to make this situation better? Um, if you're moving towards something, on the other hand, that feels very powerful. That feels far more empowering, kind of like what we spoke about previously with vision. There's a huge difference. If you're running towards your vision, you bring another energy to this decision. You bring the energy of excitement. You bring the energy of running towards curiosity, running towards the things that make you feel alive. You're running towards creation, because if you're running towards something, it's because you're going to create something new in your life, and that's a very powerful place from which to make a choice. So think about it. It does take a bit of self awareness, and self awareness does come in handy here. So if you have to journal about it, if you have to chat with counselor, mentor, close friends, a coach, 100% do it. I think it's worth it. So, next question you might want to ask yourself is, who are you doing this for? Because is it you're doing this because it's something that you really want, or is it because you're seeing your other friends um, making the same decision for themselves? Is it because you see a ton of people posting about quitting their jobs on social media and you're thinking, it's a trend, maybe that's what inspired you to think about this? Or is it because you have a purpose that you're fulfilling by making this decision? Is it that you really want this for yourself and the vision that you have for your life? If you're doing it maybe because you see that your friends are succeeding at a faster pace than you and you feel like leaving your job, going somewhere else will maybe get you a little closer to where you want to be. That's one thing. If you maybe feel like you are not succeeding as quickly as you wish you were, that's another thing. But is it pressure from how people are perceiving your career, or is it your own internal desires to do more, to do bigger, to do better? Um, and I think it's worth like checking in with your well-being, because um, this is another way or a reason doing it for yourself comes into play, right? Like, are you doing this because of your well-being? I know your well-being is your life's currency. It's what you um, bring every single day to every single thing that you do, from your job to your relationships to your friendships to yourself. It's what you bring everywhere. And if you are doing this to protect your well being, I'm a huge advocate for that. I'm a huge advocate for maintaining your well being and your life force. So protect that at all costs. So that's the question. The next question that you might want to consider is it possible for you to maybe take a short break to recalibrate? Take a short break to think things through um, better, right? It's hard sometimes to make a decision from a place of continuous action. If you're on this go, go, go kind of spree, then I think it makes things a little bit harder, because you don't really have a moment to sit with yourself, feel into yourself, feel into what it is you really want, go inside and really make a decision from a place of alignment versus from a place of scattered energy. And to me, this is really important, because I remember in my college days, I was pretty burnt out. And there were moments where started my full-time career, where I realized, I'm coming out of this college experience where I did a ton of stuff, which I'm proud of and I will never regret doing. But it was exhausting and I was stepping into my first full-time job already exhausted, already burnt out. And it makes it harder making decisions from that place. So is it possible that you can take a break? sabbatical of sorts. Take some time to yourself, take a vacation so that you can really get refreshed, recalibrate, and re energize yourself so that you can then see, okay, maybe I just needed a break. Maybe I just needed time for myself. Or, this is actually a decision that I'm making from an empowered place. This is a decision I am making because it is the best choice. And at that point, you want to think, how much longer can you hold on if you come out of this break realizing that, you know, it might not be the best place for you, or there are other things that you want to run towards. So think about that. And before we move on to the next ones, I would love to know how you are currently feeling at your job. So, out age old advice. Oh, 1 second. Okay, so finances, age old wisdom. Are you financially this move? Obviously, there could be a variety of different reasons you're making this move. Maybe you are moving to a new job that will be paying you more. Maybe you are moving to a new job that will be paying you less. Maybe you are not moving into a new job. Maybe you just need a break. Maybe you are going into entrepreneurship. Maybe you are going on vacation. So, obviously, each of these scenarios will require a different level of financial readiness to make this move or make this decision. So, take some time, 5 to 10 minutes, I feel like is sometimes all you really need to really calculate things out for yourself. Are you financially in a place where you can sustain whatever scenario you're in for X amount of time? And if the case is after your calculations that you might not be 100% ready, then what do you have to do over the next couple of weeks, months, maybe a year to get yourself to that place where you can make this decision and feel very confident about it? Because everyone has a different level of ability to stomach risk or be able to stomach uncertainty. So think about what scenario you fall in and where your finances are currently. Take inventory of your finances at this moment and where you need to be in order to make this move, um, and be prepared, especially if you're going the route of like not having a job lined up. Then this becomes super super important. If you are maybe going on a trip self, maybe we'll chat about this in the next one, but that's something you want to think about. So to that point, let's chat about the next thing you want to think about if you are doing this from the point of view of going through taking a leap of faith, so to speak, where you are going through a process of self-discovery or going through a process of entrepreneurship, because both of these will have an element of uncertainty that you will need to figure out. Are you in a good place to move towards that level of uncertainty at this point in your life? And if you are, wonderful. If you're not, maybe think about what you need to do to set yourself up for that. And I think one big question that comes up here for me personally, thinking back to the moments where I didn't necessarily have a job lined up, is a question of, are you ready to create your own structure in your life? Are you ready to create parameters for your day where you don't have currently, well, you won't have, or let's say you do have right now, this structure of a 9 to 5 where from this time to this time you'll work, and from this time to this time you won't, or you'll sleep, or you do other things. So, are you ready to create your own structure where you don't have that built into your day through your job? And last thing also is there anyone that you can speak to who maybe has gone through this process before? Maybe a friend that has gone through this, taking a trip to discover who you are versus someone who maybe has built a business and has gone the entrepreneurship route and has done it successfully. Who can you speak to, who you admire, who you respect, who you trust prior to you, and might be able to offer you advice? So, those are the things I wanted to share with you all about what to think about when you're making this decision. I know it's not an easy one, but it is one that you can look at from the perspective of excitement. Like you are in a position where you're going to create the next couple of months, years, decade of your life. And if you think long term, then I think you will figure out slowly but surely the right decision for yourself. So I wish you all the best. Lots of luck. As some of you know, I am in the process of creating a job search course, which I am very excited about. And I'm having a lot of fun just thinking through what I want to share with you guys through this course. um, I have gone through the job search process since I was in high school for the most part, getting my first internships all the way through college, having ton of different internships over the years to full-time offers where I've gotten pretty much all the companies I've wanted to work for. Um, and I'm so happy that I've landed in such a wonderful job currently, and I'm feeling really good about where I am. So I want to take all of those years, many, many years, what it feels like right now, of experiences and share them with you guys through this job search. So I've had conversations with people who are currently going through that process about what they most need and what they feel is most challenging to them. And I want to add my take on this. I know there's plenty of courses out there, right? But there's a particular story of mine that I feel will be super, super, super useful to you all. I want to mix in this bit of spirituality, which has been instrumental in my own job search. And thanks to my mom for always bringing a level of spirituality to the things that I do. So I would love to share that with you guys. And if you would love to hear about when I release this course, I left a link in the description box where you can drop your email and I will email you first about when the job search course is available. So I will see you there. And as you all know, or as I mentioned previously, I will be chatting about the process, all the elements of the process of the job search, but with a twist of spirituality. So, yes, if you got anything from this video, give it a quick, beautiful like, and I will catch you in the next one. Take care. Bye.